Okay. So I think like yesterday we gone through the working with the page layout. So today mainly we will go through the working with the record type and its business process. Yeah. So let me open the Excel sheet. There is a reference Excel sheets. Okay. So first of all, like what is meant by record type? So in Salesforce, record type will give you the different layout. So let's say at the moment in employee, let me log into Salesforce. So we have an employee and HR management. In that, we have a training courses. Or maybe like let's go for the employee. Okay. So now we have an employee object. Now if I open the employee objects, yes, we can see like all the informations. Now assume within the employee object itself, there are two categories. So let's say maybe working employee or non-working employee. Or maybe within employee, what category we can put?
Those who
So,
have resigned.
sorry.
Those who have resigned.
Yeah, but again, resigned like which will be the same informations. I would like to differentiate some common information for working employee, non-working employee, or for
Probably a
admin.
person who is like who's gone on maternity leave.
That is also fine. Like like what I am trying to explain is, so basically to differentiate the fields. So let's say like for employee, we are having like a different informations. Same way for non-employee, we may not have a different informations. So I want to differentiate the layout. So yeah,
Okay.
for example, maybe for admin and see like let's say within an employee, we have a two categories: working employee, non-working employee. Yeah.
Okay.
So working employee, maybe like we need education informations. For non-working, instead of non-working employee, I will say like um,
You
um
mean to say those housekeeping people?
yeah. Well,
Oh,
how do we differentiate like those employees? So okay, technical, non-technical, or um so housekeeping, like labors, like all this, like how we will differentiate. So basically, like they are non-functional employees, right?
yeah.
So how do we differentiate? Like, can we go ahead with the functional, non-functional?
Okay.
Functional
Yeah, the
employees?
same thing I had in my configuration workbook too, but I
Yeah.
put it
So,
based on the designation.
yeah. What I'm trying to yeah, like just we need to differentiate the layouts. So let's say if it's a functional employee, we would
Mm.
like to capture the educational details. If it's a
Okay.
non-functional employee, we don't care about the educational informations, right?
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah. Now in that scenario, how do we achieve that? So if you are creating a functional employee, you may need to provide more informations along with educational details and maybe like the previous employment details where they
Okay.
worked and all the stuff. But if it's a non-functional employee, we don't care like whether they have experience or they don't have a qualifications. No need to worry about it.
Yeah.
So we need to differentiate it. How we will differentiate that? So how do we capture like the informations? If it's a functional employee, yes, we need a different stuff. If it's a non-functional employee, we need a different information, like different information we are trying to capture it.
Okay.
So in that scenario, we can go for a record types.
Mm.
So to differentiate the information itself, because for functional, maybe there are educational fields and there are employment history fields. But non-functional employees, there is no educational, there is no history fields, employment history fields. We don't want to capture all those. So how do we remove from the layouts? So we have to differentiate different layouts, right? Functional different layout, non-functional different layouts.
Mm.
So how do we achieve that? Or within the employed itself, like a customer itself, like we have a employed customer, unemployed customers. So employed customer means we need a company informations and other stuff. Unemployed customers, we don't want like a customer information, other stuff.
Mm.
This is another example. But we are storing the customer as a one object, but within the customer table, we need to categorize the customer employee and like basically employee customer, unemployed customers.
Oh, okay.
See, simply we can go for a type, whether it's a employed customer or unemployed customers.
We can add that field.
Yeah, we can create a one more field on the customer table, says
Yeah.
employed customer, unemployed customers. But
Yes.
if we create a type field, how do we differentiate the other fields? If it's employed, we have to display like
You
let's say
can give
we
the
have to,
I mean, you gave a rule that day. You remember, like whether new person or I mean, new employee or experienced person, experienced employee,
yeah,
like that.
yeah. We can go ahead with that also. Let's say while creating an employee, freshers or experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there are two categories. Yeah, that is a good example actually. So let's go ahead with that example. So if it's a fresher, we don't want to capture any employment history informations.
True.
If it's an experienced candidate, at least we need to capture the one or two previous employee history.
Yes.
So how do we capture that? Let's say like if I'm creating a new, for new itself, you have to choose first of all like whether this employee is a fresher or experience.
Experienced person. Okay.
If it's a fresher, we don't want to capture like again we are going to create a company informations. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create additional fields, which is
You create a field like experience,
yeah. So
previous experiences.
exactly. Maybe previous designation.
Yeah. And also you will need a contact number.
Yeah, previous company,
Contact person.
contact name, other contact person name, or just a company contact person name.
Mm.
Name and email.
Actually, they'll ask for email, name, and the phone number.
Yeah, so I put a contact person name and then email. Okay.
We might also have to give the designation, no?
Yeah. No, I thought like we created it. Previous designation.
Mm.
Maybe date of leaving.
Yeah, that is also required.
Yeah.
Because for background check, they will definitely want the date of leaving.
Yeah. Previous designation. Last date. Previous company last date.
Yeah.
Okay. So now if I look at any one of the employees, so okay, now if you are trying to create a new employee, see all the information is there. Previous company name, previous company address, previous company contact person name, email, phone, and previous designations and previous company last date.
Yeah.
Now, if it's a fresher, we don't want to display the fields. We don't want to display all these fields.
Okay.
If it's an experienced employee, yes, we need all these fields. We are going to capture it. We need all these fields. And
Okay.
before that, let me do one more thing. If I go to the layout,
You can create a new section, say previous experience.
yeah, exactly. Okay. So now, if you are trying to enter a new employee, if it's a fresher, so basically we don't want, where is that section? Still is not up here. 1 second. No, still the section is not splitted. Yeah. Give me a second. Let me jump in and then jump back. No, still, did I created it?
Yeah, you created.
Let me check. Yeah, we do have it. Yeah, we have it. Sorry, experience. Okay, now refresh it. No, still like it's not up here. It's because of my cookies.
We
So
have to go to the Salesforce.
Probably I think the spelling mistake,
sorry.
spelling mistakes of experience,
Yeah.
just because of the spelling mistake. Yeah.
No, not because of that. So see, in classic it's coming.
But each time we have to go to this and come.
No, it's not like that. If you are trying to access like a incognito mode, it's because of my browser. Because I enabled like now it's coming. See.
Yeah, okay.
So because of like my browser actually. So maybe like you guys browser like it will be okay. Only my browsers. EXPE. not because of the spelling mistake, basically like, yeah, so it's cookies. So, but from your screen, it will be okay. So see here, now, if it's a fresher employee, we don't want to display this.
Yeah.
Only experienced employee, we need this. Now, how do we differentiate that?
We can give any validation rule.
First of all,
Based
we
on
don't want to display that itself. We don't want this information. We don't want to
Oh.
display. If it's a fresher, see, employee itself, we are going to have a two category now. One is fresher employee, experienced employee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
So now for fresher employee, yes, definitely like we don't want to capture all this. If it's an experienced employee, yes, we need to capture all these informations. Now, if we go ahead with the employee type, whether fresher or experience. So as a pick list means we cannot hide this information, right? If you go ahead with the pick list. So let's say like there is an employee type, which is fresher and experience. So if it's a fresher, yes. So you are selecting in the pick list a fresher. At the time, how do we hide all this? We cannot hide it. There is no way to hide all these informations. So because of that,
Create a new one. When you want to create a new record,
yeah,
this will
let's say
come
like
by
I'm creating a
default.
new record.
Yeah, this will come by default, right?
But again, if it's a fresher, no need these informations.
Okay.
So how do we hide that? So we have to hide it, right?
Yeah.
If it's an experience, okay, let's display this. If it's a fresher, no need to display. So how do we hide this? So that is the main reason we are going for a record type.
Oh, okay.
So the purpose of the record type is basically to differentiate the layout. So
Then through page layout.
sorry,
Through page layout, we can do that, right?
yeah. So we have to create a record type. One is freshers and another one is experience. So if it's a fresher, we need to have a different layout. If it's experience, we need to have another one more layout, which I am going to show it to you. And before that, in standard object, in Salesforce, we have a standard object lead, opportunity, case. For these three, we have to create a sales process. So for lead and opportunity, we have to create a sales process. For case, we have to create a support process before creating the record type. If it's a
This is
custom
mandatory
object,
for all the projects you do.
sorry,
I mean, whatever is the project that you're doing, this has to be done. It's a mandatory thing.
no. Again, if you are trying to create a record type on lead object, or if you are trying to create a record type on opportunity object, if you are trying to create a record type on case object, then you have to create a sales process first or support process first. But if you are creating a record type on custom object, no need a record type. There is nothing.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, why they given a sales process means, let's say like there is a big company like MNC company, they have a branches in different countries. So in India, the sales process may different. US, the sales process may different. Other country, the sales process is different. So to differentiate all the process, first you need to create a different sales process, and then you can go for a record type. But for us, it's a custom objects. So in the custom object, there is no process. Directly you can go and create a record type. Okay, so now for us, employee is object. Yeah, what is the two values?
Experience and fresher.
Freshers, just fresher experience. Okay, now let's go and create a record type. So to create a record type, go to an object manager. An employee, here is the record type. So here there is no master record type at the moment. Go and create by default. Experience. And because this is the first record type, by default it's active and is visible to all the profiles. I don't want to give all the profiles. At the moment, I will go ahead with the standard profile and the system administrator profile, or maybe platform profile. That's fine. Let's go ahead with these 3 profiles. I don't want to give it all the profiles. So if you are not giving access to the record profiles, they cannot see the record type. So I am giving the permission only these 3 users, basically profiles. So next, and what layout you want to go. So I am going with the same layout at the moment. Save. If it's a one record type, there is no difference. You have to have another one more record type to see the difference. So I will go and create a one more record type. Now see, you can choose like the existing record type is experience, but we don't want fresher also one of the master.
So if we want subcategories under this fresher or experience, again
Yes.
we can.
Yes, we can create. At the time you can choose the master.
Oh, okay.
Again, this also, see, while creating a second record type, I have to activate it. First record type by default it's coming active, but second one and see, the first one by default it's a default value for those profiles. So next, this also I'm going ahead with the same record type and save. Now we have 2 record types. Now if I go and create a new employee, see, whether it's experience or fresher. Now if I choose a freshers, at the moment it's coming the same page layout.
Yes.
What we need to do, we have to create additional one more page layouts. So now go to the page layout. Maybe we can use this default layout for experience, but fresher, I'm going to create a new layout. Fees like a feed based layout. Don't check the checkbox, because if you are checking the checkbox, it will be like the layout itself look like different, but don't check the checkbox. So I'm going to choose the existing layout as an employee layout. Now freshers, I'm going to put freshers page layout. Okay. Now here for freshers, I don't want this entire sections. I will remove, and you can look at like maybe Facebook URL. Initially they will be, that's fine. Yeah, these are all like okay. Only that particular sections we don't want, right? So I created it. Now what you need to do, we have to assign the layout to the record type. We created record type and we created a page layouts. Now we need to assign the layout. So page layout assignment.
That is
Edit.
for what? Why?
Sorry.
Why we do that?
Without assigning it, you cannot see. Like see. If you are choosing it, okay. But still the same layout will come because we created a layout, but we didn't assign it. We have to associate it to a record type, right? So you,
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay.
yeah. So let's say for master, let it be.
This page layout assignment we didn't do it yesterday because it was only one layout. When there are multiple layouts, then we get into this, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So because one layout we cannot assign it, right? So by default that is a layout. So
yeah, okay.
So now we have a 2. So now for experience, experience layout, basically the employee layout. For freshers, I want fresher layouts, because fresher layout I removed one sections. Now just save it. And check whether it's changed. Yes, it's get changed. Now go back here. Click next. Now I'm going to select fresher. 1 second, still it's same layout. It take like quite some time. So no, still will be there. If I go experience is fine. For freshers, you know what? I'll go back to the classic. Employee, new, fresher. See, now it's not coming. Okay, so I'll go back to now. It will come. See here. So if I click new employee, freshers, there is no previous experience informations. But if I click new, if I choose experience, yeah. Is that clear?
Yeah.
So to differentiate the layout, maybe you have multiple layouts. So for example, opportunity, we can use like opportunity for different purpose. Or the same way customers, we can use a farmer customer or old customer. Like, yeah, we have like a depends on the business requirement. There are many category, maybe there is a possibility. So there are some scenario, if you want to differentiate the fields, at the moment you can go for, very well, you can go for record types. So the record type will help you to differentiate the page layout. So you can create a page layout and you can assign the layout to a record type. So whenever like the layout, whenever like if you are choosing the record type based on the what record type you are chosen, based on that the layout will be different. So for that you need to create a separate layout and remove whatever unnecessary fields, and you can assign the record page layout to a record type. Okay, so any question on the record types?
Sampath, can you explain one more time, please? I just missed.
Okay, so always like you will get a video, but again, yeah. So we have an employee objects, and in that employee object, we are going to have two difference, basically experienced employee, freshers. If it's a freshers, we don't want to capture the employment information, the previous employee informations. So what information we are having in the previous employee? Previous company name, previous company address, previous designations, previous company last date when they worked, previous company, and previous company contact person, then contact person email, contact person phone number. So these are all information we don't want to capture, because for freshers they don't have it, right? Because he's a fresh candidate. So now to differentiate it, how we will differentiate it? If we go for a pick list field, let's say like a type of employee, if you create a type of employee, let's say like one is freshers and another one is experience. If you are going for a pick list, we cannot differentiate the fields. We have like there are more than 10 fields are there, right?
Yeah.
So those fields we cannot differentiate it. We cannot remove it, basically, if you are going for a pick list. But then how we will achieve means you have to go for a record type. So then how we will create a record type? So as I mentioned to you, like, yeah, record type. So create a record type first. Then create a page layout. Remove the unnecessary fields. Remove the irrelevant fields. Assign the page layout to the record type. Yeah, so that these are the three procedures basically. So that's why I showed you here. So now if we choose the pressure candidate, now once if we create a record type, what will happen all the existing record? So all the existing record by default master record type. If you want to change it, you can go and change the record type. So if I go for a William, change record type, you can choose experience or freshers, whatever it is. Official email ID is mandatory while editing it. Where is that official email ID? So for other employees, same way Murthy, by default, the record type will be a master record type, but you can change it to either freshers or like, yeah. Personal info, no. Where is office informations? Okay. So like that, you can change like all other existing record also. These records at the moment by default, like, yeah. And also one field will get created automatically. So see here. So employee name. There will be a record type. See here. Now only these two have a record type. Remaining these three, by default, it's a default record type, which is master record type. If you want to change it to anyone, you can go and update that record type. So open it and then you can update it. Now, first time if you are creating it, you have to choose it. Which one? So experience or freshers. You have to choose it accordingly. Based on the record type selections, the layout will be different. Okay. So that's all for the record type and its business process. The business process is basically, let's say like if there is a, I would say like the business process mainly for opportunity. The company, they have a like a MNC company and they have a different sales process for different region. Maybe like India, different sales process, and US, UK, different sales process. So to capture that, they have to create a first sales process and then they have to create a record type to differentiate it. That is the business requirement basically. Yeah. Okay. So the next one is list view. How do we create a list view? What is the purpose of the list view? So basically, by default, once if we click on the tab, by default, you will see recently viewed list view. By default, you can see recently viewed list views. Other than that, we have a all. All is the another one more list view. Apart from that, let's say like if I want to see only the freshers or I want to see only the experience. So assume we have only 5. That's why easily you can differentiate it. Now you have more than 700 or 1000 employees. If you want to see only freshers, how do we do? So what we can do, we can simply create a new list view. This one we call it as a list view, and you can pin it like the list view, you can pin it. So once if you pin it, whenever if you come in, by default the pinned one will appear. Which list view you pinned it, the pinned list view will appear default automatically. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new list views. So to create a new list view, you have to click on the gear icon over here and create new. Okay, so experienced employees. It's visible to only you. This list will be visible to only you or all the user in your company or public groups. You can go for role and role subordinates or groups. You can share it. Basically group of users. But at the moment, let it be all users, not an issue. Okay, see, we created a list view. Now, how do we display multiple fields over here? So you can add a maximum 15 columns. So here you have to put the filter condition. You will see after creating a list view, you have to put the filter conditions. So basically all employee, and the filter is record type name. Record type is equal to freshers. Sorry, for this it's experience. Now you can see only one. Then how do you put a columns? So to do that, here is a simple options. Select field to display. So what are the field you want to display? You can select it. So let's say like this. Maximum you can add 15 fields, 15. See, now you can see name, and that can be sorted by like anything. Yeah, you can do sorting order by any fields. Okay, and the similar way you can create another one more list view called fresher. Same way visible to all users. Put a filter conditions, all employee, record type. Not only record type, you can have like, see, there are all the fields. You can put any fields, filter conditions, up to you. So we can define like a different list views. Here I am going to say just a freshers. Save. Select fields to display. Here you can select like a different fields. What are the fields you want? Like, yeah. Even you can display the flag or image, like, yeah, any fields like that will be included. See, now you will see flag is coming like a little bit bigger because of this flag, like the layout itself, like it's bigger. So yeah, if you remove it, it will be okay. So that's fine, let it be. Okay, so now another one more thing. If I go to all is by default, it will come. Okay, Now here we have additional stuff. See here, table, Kanban, split view. So at the moment it's a table view. Now if I go for a Kanban, summarized by what? Summarized by based on the which field? So grouped by owner or states, summarized by annual income or age. I can go
Why
by
only
age.
few fields are coming there and summarized by?
Numbers. Basically like a summarize means like a number fields. So you will get it like only on the number fields.
Oh, okay.
So here freshers on 50 age, how many? One. Experience basically. Freshers, there is a 150. And uncategorized, 100 age, there are 3 people. But if you want to move it like with a different country, see here, your country also differentiating. None, India, US, UK, Canada. Very nice, right? Like empty country, how many? India, how many you want? Like simply you can push it India. So let's say country India. I'm going to put India states. Some of the language like. See, you can move it like this as well. Yeah, the personal email ID fields. Just testing email, I'm putting it. See, you can move it like this. So whenever you are moving it, if the category is done, then it will come. Otherwise, like yeah, because we are changing it, so you have to adjust accordingly. Okay, so that is for Kanban view. Even you can go for a split view. So now if I click on John, I can see the John detail. If I click on Murthy, I can see the Murthy detail. Smith, Smith detail. Good, right? Instead of opening like another window and see the details, the split view, you can easily see it here. Yeah. So that is for split view. This is default table view. Now, in this table view, again, you have like a refresh the list view in order to edit the inline editing. So if you have a multiple fields, let's say like I'm going to add a couple of fields. See, we can put it like this. So the inline editing will work only one record type at a time, not all the record types. So if I go for experience, you can edit it. You will see inline edit. Here itself you can edit it. You don't need to go to the detail page to edit it. This is called inline editing. And then you have a chart. You will see here. Here itself you will get a nice chart by country. Horizontal, vertical, or donut. What type of chart you are looking for, and the count and aggregation field. Aggregated field, just a number, I think. Where is the employee ID? Let's go ahead with employee name. See here, non-specified country, there are 3, and India there are 2. Remaining 3 entries, there is no country, there is no values basically. Yeah, so like this you can see the information here itself. So you can get like the informations. So you can add a chart also, and there is a filter conditions. Again, if you want to put any in-depth filter, like additional filters, and there is a filter logic. Let's assume like if you have a multiple filters, you can go for a logic 1 or 2 and 3, like, yeah, you can go for like a multiple logic if you have a more filters, and you can do any kind of logic using the and or operator. Using these 2 operator, you can go and modify your logic based on your requirement. Okay, so at the moment we don't have any conditions here, so just simply finish. Yeah, okay, and see, like this chart can be again changed. Like if you want a different chart, let's say vertical bar, like horizontal bar. Yeah, so even if you want to create a new chart, you can go for it. So these are all the options. Edit chart, delete charts. Edit means like if you are trying to modify the values, you can do it. Yeah. So is that clear?
Yes, simple.
Any questions?
No.
Okay. What about others? Okay. We have just a 1 minute to finish the meetings, but I will again relaunch it and then we can go for it. Let me stop the recording.